As the dust settles, all 29 people on board are miraculously alive, with only a handful seriously injured by the impact.
It was an amazing situation only because I just couldn't even believe that I was alive at that point, and I couldn't believe that I was looking at something that was real.
But a new disaster is gathering. Fuel from the shattered wing tanks is pouring onto the ground.
The last thing I remember is the sound of hitting the trees, and then I honestly don't recall impact.
Captain Ed Ganaway has been knocked unconscious by a blow to the head during the impacts. When First Officer Matt Warmerdam regains consciousness, he realizes they're stuck. The cockpit door is jammed and smoke is slowly seeping in. He reaches for the emergency crash axe. The cockpit window is the only way out.
The next immediate thought I had was, now we're going to blow up. So get out of there. It was burning, you know, right in the opening. You know, so I just jumped over.
And I headed towards the opening, and I walked out of the aircraft, and I walked away from it.
The sparks ignite the fuel vapors, creating a blazing fire. Within seconds, the fire spreads to the fuselage. In the rear section of the plane, the passengers are now trapped by flames. They can hear screams from the field outside, where some passengers are already suffering from terrible burns. To escape, they too have to run through the fire, not fall in it, hoping for the best.
I turned back and I looked at the aircraft, and what I saw was that the opening that I had come through was basically fully engulfed in flames, and that the people that were exiting the aircraft were all on fire.
Some of them would, you know, roll in the grass to try and put the fire out, and sometimes that made it worse because there was spilt fuel, and then they would get even more ignited.
And the whole situation got uglier and uglier in the sense that you would all of a sudden see people with their clothing burned off. You would see people with red skin that you could see was burnt. You could actually see some people whose flesh was like dropping off of their bodies or their faces. It was just a horrible situation that was taking place, and it was getting worse and worse.
Matt Warmerdam, his right shoulder dislocated, is banging the axe against the window with his left hand.
The person's clothes were on fire, and she was on the ground. I think it was a woman. She was on the ground, and Robin said to me, she says, take off your shirt, take off your pants, try to beat the flames out. And I did that.
One gentleman I saw was crawling, completely engulfed in flames, and another one that was, most of his clothes was torn off. Now, whether they got torn off in the crash or he tore them off himself, I don't know. I helped him away from the airplane and brought him up towards my brother-in-law's house. And all he had on was his shorts, and his skin was, excuse me.
Well, being a paralyzed person myself, I knew that I couldn't do much for them. I was looking and I thought to myself, that'll be these people that on that airplane are seeing the last seconds of a normal life that they'll ever live.
Aircraft glass is much thicker than what you would see on like an automobile windshield. It's several different composite layers that have been temper treated together to make it a very, very tough surface. And with each swing of the crash axe, I was only able to chip away a small piece of glass.
I need some help!
I really did feel kind of alone there. I'm looking around left and right, and there's no other fools that close, you know, at that second.
But even though passenger David McCorkle believes that the plane might blow up at any second, he goes to Matt Warmerdam's rescue.
Can you help me? I'm gonna